This Week in Connecticut with Dennis House starts now.
Welcome to This Week in Connecticut. Greetings, everyone. I'm Dennis House. A big development in the race for governor in 2026. I sit down with New Britain Mayor Erin Stewart about her significant announcement. Teacher shortages and school threats. We are joined by two superintendents, Dr. Madeline Negron of New Haven and Dr. Leslie Torres Rodriguez of Hartford. And how about a lucrative job in manufacturing? The state's chief manufacturing officer, Paul Lavoie, is with us. First up on This Week, the lead. Big news in the political world this week. New Britain Mayor Erin Stewart announced she will not be seeking re-election in the Harbor City, as it instead leaning toward running for governor. Her Republican Party is in a historic slump, having lost 4 gubernatorial elections in a row. Mayor Stewart, great to see you here, and thanks for sitting down with us.
Thank you.
What does the future hold?
Good question. I wish I knew. Anybody who has a crystal ball, I'd be more than happy to take that. What I do know is that I can't figure out what my future is until I take this weight off my shoulders and close the door here in the city of New Britain. A lot of people have talked about speculation for me running for governor, and that is a very big possibility. But there's also the reality that I may want to go work in the private sector, and I may not want to be in politics. But I don't know. I wish I did. But what I do know is that I can't figure that out. I can't prioritize myself unless I am ready to say, okay, I'm not going to seek re-election as mayor.
2025 is only a couple of months away, and if you realistically want to run for governor in 26, you have to start that in 2025. When will that decision be made to run for governor?
I think that anybody who's thinking about it, anybody who's in this position, has until probably after the holidays before they really have to start gearing up, getting all the pieces together and start putting together their teams, especially if you're going to go for the public financing portion of it, because it's just, it's a long haul.
So you'll have to decide over these coming holidays here.
Yes, yep.
Where's your mind right now about running for governor? Because a lot of Republicans say to me, Erin Stewart should run. And you've heard it too.
I have.
And you've said that you've thought about it in years past. You've done it before.
I did it before in 2018. It's a lot of work. I will say that. And I watch other people who have tried to be a mayor and run for governor at the same time. I tried to do it myself, and it doesn't work. So what I do know where my head is that I can't have the space to even try to figure that out when I know that I have so much to do here for my job, and I owe that to the people who elected me here too. I got to make sure that I'm focused here, but if I'm going to take that step to the next, I need to make sure that I have that space to run, to do it the right way. So I think when you ask me where my head is at, I need that time. I need that time to talk it over with my family, my husband. He's a big piece of this decision too.
Sure.
We have 2 little kids at home. Our daughter is 4. Our son is just about to be 1 next month. And so, that's a big decision to make for our family too.
How does Governor Lamont play into all this? Because he's popular right now. He has not yet said whether he's going to run for a 3rd term. Is it easier to run for governor if he doesn't run?
I don't know that it necessarily matters to me, personally. I think that when I make that decision, it's for me, and it's not going to be based on anything else other than my willingness to want to continue public service and bring it to, the state of Connecticut and try to replicate what I've been successful here with in New Britain. So I don't know that his decision makes a big impact on mine. It certainly would, it would change the landscape of the type of campaign that you plan. That's all. Do
you think he's done a good job? Is he difficult to run against or easy to attack?
Both, right?
Okay.
I think that,
You think he's easy to run against?
But in different ways, yes. Because there's a lot of people that are just unhappy with the way that things are right now. And, my family's one of them. Unaffordability, and that's just going around nationwide. Looking at just making Connecticut an easier place for a young family to live. But then on the other side of the coin, he's a likable guy, and he's done a lot of good things too, and good things for me here in the city of New Britain. So, but I think that's what is interesting about politics and what you don't see nowadays is I could run against someone that I like and show a different way based off of a different way of our policies and the way that we think about things, and not have to say he's the worst person in the world.
If he doesn't run again, there are some other Democrats who are rumored to be perhaps in the hunt for that job. Lieutenant Governor Bysewicz, Attorney General Tong, a few others. Would those be easier to run against?
I think if it were an open seat, it's going to be a very different kind of campaign. And you're dealing with people who might not have statewide name recognition or not be as well known. So I think really it's all going to depend on who that person is. I don't necessarily think for a Republican it's ever easy. You're outnumbered. You're always going to have to work twice as hard, and I equate it to everything that I had to do here in New Britain. When you're outnumbered by Democrats, 5-1, I had to work twice as hard to try to get elected and maintain those margins that I had here in the city.
A lot of Republicans running this year tell me that Donald Trump is a drag on the Republican ticket. It's difficult to have him on the ballot this November while they run as well.
Yeah.
Is it easier for you next year, should you decide to run for governor, if Donald Trump is not the president?
I don't know that it matters, because I look at my successes here as building my own brand. I've built my own brand of Republican, and people know that I've been able to separate myself from the different wings of the party, whether they're, super right wing, whether they're, very moderate. I've always had a way to kind of stand out. And I've done that through communicating with people and letting it be very clear where I stand. So while sure, some could say it might make it harder for your ultra left wing people to consider voting for a Republican if Donald Trump is the president, I do think that I have a very unique way of breaking through a lot of that, and I would certainly intend to do so.
What's the Mayor Erin Stewart legacy for the city of New Britain? How should you be remembered for your service?
I think the city of New Britain today is a very different place than it was 11 years ago. Just look around. All of the development that we have, all of the park reconstruction projects, the school projects that we've been able to do, really truly transforming the quality of life for people here is something I'm incredibly proud of. But the biggest story of it all is the city's finances. There's no doubt about that. And that's why I wanted to make this announcement this week. We're voting this week. The City Council will vote on a resolution where we close out the fiscal year from last year. It's the first time in 11 years that the city will end its financial year on an exceedingly positive note. The first time. Well, we don't have to worry about paying our bills. We don't have to worry about paying our debt payments. We're fully funding our pension plans. I mean, it is the first time in over a decade that I can take a deep breath and not have to focus so much time on the city's finances. And I think that is something that I'm incredibly, incredibly proud of. So
what's the correct way to characterize your viewpoint right now, your judgment on this? Is it you're leaning toward running?
I would say, sir, I think that's fair to say, but I'm just not ready to jump all the way in. Yeah, I mean.
And that'll come in January, probably.
Yeah, not until after the holidays. I think, I have to look back and reflect on everything that I've been able to do here. New Britain is my heart, it's my home, it's been everything that I've known for the last 11, 12 years, my whole life. But in this position, it's been everything. Every moment, every breath that I've taken has involved something having to do with governing this city. So it's going to be a really difficult adjustment for me personally too, to walk away from that. But I'm really grateful that I have the opportunity to walk away while people are still clapping for me. And I think that that's something that I didn't get forced out, right? I'm not in a position.
Leaving on your own terms.
Yeah, I'm leaving on my own terms. And I think that, I'm term limiting myself here, I guess. I'm sad for certain, but I'm hopeful for my future, whatever that might hold. I'm hopeful for the city's future too, and I know that I'm leaving this community in a much better place than when I found it. It'll be 12 years ago.
Well, Mayor Stewart, thanks for sitting down with us. And I remember our first interview back in 2013, right after you were mayor-elect.
You were so tough. And I look back on it now and think about how much I've grown too. And I think that's an important thing to admit.
Well, at least you continue to sit down with me over the years, so I appreciate that.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mayor. Best of luck.
Thank you.
When we come back, 2 school superintendents